y'all. Happy Thursday. I have been talking about stacked PRs all day on GitHub. It is here. It is happening. I'm so tired, but we made it. It has been a journey to get to this day, and I am very, very, very happy about it. Oh my word. I've also been I've basically been charged it has to go viral, and so many memes have been my output this week at work, and it's all very professional, very above board, but also mildly unhinged too, which was very fun. How are y'all doing? What are you up to? Hey. I'm truly just closing windows at the same time because my calendar has exploded, and it's truly all just make sure you post on this network, make sure that this post went out from these different people. And it's just lots of coordination of getting the word out. And then I had a blog post go out today, we had videos go out today, we have a changelog that went out today, we had a community discussion that went out, and then truly every post you see from a GitHub person or from the GitHub account itself was made by my team. And so it's truly just been okay, how do we get this message across? How do we do these things? Love to see a non-AI related feature. Same. I agree. It has been hard to get here. Stacked PRs was such a fascinating engineering journey to follow because it had to deal with so much legacy. There was so much legacy to go through, 10 years of changes, code-based stuff, where I think they first started implementing this feature in September last year or something, and truly it was just so much effort. I was talking on the GitHub live stream a few hours ago, and you can go back and watch that if you want. We took over the Rubber Duck Thursdays live stream, and they were saying just the merge box alone, the UI for where the merges happen. Let me pull up a screenshot of it. That was the biggest challenge of all because so much goes on behind the scenes for that merge box to exist. Am I coming to render? I am, yes. I am emceeing. What that means, we'll find out. Oh, I know how to MC, I just, don't know what it's gonna look like on that day, but that's okay. It'll be fun. Okay, so if I pull up the changelog, I will be able to show you in just a second. Blah. So this UI right here, the merge box, that is a very complex piece of software in GitHub in general. It is a lot because all of the CI checks happen, certain things happen under the hood whenever a pull request is in there, and doing it for stacks, everything had to be coordinated really, really well, to the point where there's actually a test merge that happens on GitHub servers just for these labels right here on the side to be able to say ready or unable to merge or blocked upstream or whatever the status label is. So just this box alone took so much engineering, and it had to work across actions on GitHub mobile, on the web UI, on the CLI, so many different things. And the terminal user interface is really, really clean too. I think I have some screenshots here too. That's marketing. Oh yeah, okay. So if you want to create a stack in here, the UI is so clean. I don't know if you can see that. It is nice that if I can cut that off, where you're able to add different PRs into stacks. You can move things up and down in the stack. You can insert a PR in the middle. You can remove one from the middle or at the end or wherever. You can submit just part of the stack. You can merge just part of the stack. It's really, really cool. Once again, it is nice to have a non-AI ship, because even though so many different things it benefits from AI stuff, or rather AI is a part of it. A bunch of people are just oh, you guys made this because agentic engineering means that you have a bunch of really massive PRs. Yes, but no. We were going to implement this anyway, and we're so glad that it's finally out. It has been a team effort to do not only the engineering. The engineering has been a whole thing. The product work has been so much thought had to go into it, and so much user testing, and then just the go-to-market alone has been a journey, and we've made it. I can finally sleep. So much thought on the memes. The memes have been so intentional. Do you already have plans to expand the feature? Yes, we do. Currently, and like it's technically in private or public preview now, and so like it's not done. It's not like general availability. It's you opt into the public preview. But one of the things right now that isn't available but will be, for example, is forks, where right now stacks don't work like from forks into a PR into a main trunk or whatever. So that is the thing that has to be fixed there, or has to be updated. But it works with merge queues, and I know that that's like rolling out slowly depending on sizes of orgs and stuff. And it's super great for mono repos. For microservices, it's not quite there yet. We were talking about that, about how one could make that work well, but that might be further down the line. The feature is not done by any means, but it's out. At least people can start using it, and it's very exciting. It's been so much work. I'm so tired. And I was so worried that I was going to be delayed. Not even because it's like not working, more delayed because we really wanted so many things to be airtight, and they kept saying like, okay, well, what if we delayed the release to add this extra thing? And we'd be like, no, it's not worth it. Let's just get it out, and we can always add things over time. But we made it. I saw the pancake icon this morning and I was like, I know who did that. Did you like it? People, it has gotten such mixed responses. And I like when we talk about it inside, we're just like, yeah, that's like what virality means, right? Some people love it, some people hate it. I wish that we had added like some kind of banner to be just like Stacked PRs are here, that's why it's a pancake. But it got people talking, and yeah, it was a good time getting some pancakes in the UI. It also shows a pancake in the UI in a PR, where right now, like this is what the icon is supposed to be, if you can see that tiny little stack of rectangles there, but currently that is a pancake for fun. It has received mixed responses everywhere. But what's really funny is I just saw right before the stream, let me pull it up, someone made a change.org petition. I'm putting it in the chat. Someone made a change.org petition to keep the pancake icon, which is very funny to me. And honestly, I'm kind of for it, but we might need to like do some explaining and not confuse too many people. But I thought that was very funny that went out there. We've been all over Reddit and Hacker News and Twitter and Blue Sky and Mastodon and what are the other ones? Threads and Instagram and TikTok. It is so much posting, where my team has been working with the social media team and with the product marketing teams and stuff. Just we have just like it was supposed to be like a go-to-market plan channel, but it basically is a memes channel at this point, where it's just like, this meme will convey things properly. The one that I liked making the most was a brain rot one. Here, let me pull it up. That one, I came up with that idea super last second, truly yesterday at like 5 or 6 p.m. Let me find it. GitHub tweeted it recently, I think. Yes, okay. And so this one, here, I'll pull it up. Here. This one I made truly today at like 10 minutes before launch, where I'm basically just reading the docs, and then I was like, okay, I could do one of those brain rot memes where it has like Subway Surfer running in the background. And here, I'll post the link to this one. I know that there's one on, I think there's one on Blue Sky too. I have to find it. But that is an actual real game that I made, where and when I say I made it, I like did as much as I could and had AI help me because I needed to get it done very, very fast. And so I got a bunch of assets from Kenny. If you know Kenny's assets, he had a food one, where if I do 3D, and I think if I just type food, yeah, so a food kit. And I looked at this and I was just like, okay, he has pancakes, but also I didn't want to have, I wanted it to be like flat pancakes that turned into a stack. So what I did was I took the cheese wheel one that's all the way here at the bottom. I took the cheese wheel asset and squished it so it would look like a pancake. And then that ended up being the actual pancake that you see stacking. And then there's an actual Kenny defined pancake asset here for when it turns into a stack. And so when I did it this way, I have like the pan moving, and then I used the strawberries to add some toppings, and then it turns into the pancake emoji. And I added some little sound effects and stuff. This was very fun, and truly, like, I gotta say, AI has been really good to me for this particular one because I had to get it done so fast. And so I vibed grand majority of this to be able to get this done. And so I just screen recorded myself playing it for like 2.5 minutes. And then after that, I literally sat in front of my computer and read the documentation and added those captions and shipped the video. And did that during a meeting so that way we could get it shipped in time for launch today. And then if you hit the spacebar, it ends the game, and then it just like puts the stack in a repository because I didn't know how to end it. But if you want to play the game, you can. That was one of my favorite memes that we produced for this one for sure. Ah, so much work. I acknowledge that it is silly work, but we were basically charged internally saying like this must go viral. Usage matters, yes. But this has to make a splash because this is the biggest this is the biggest release that we've had on the platform since I don't even know when. So just the biggest non-AI release in a long time. Where we've done a lot of smaller non-AI releases, and it's a lot of reactive stuff where it's just like, oh, maintainers are dealing with slop, we should improve certain things here, or we should surface contributing guidelines better, things like that, where it's a lot of improvements. But for an actual new big platform feature, this is the first one in a while, and it's been very, very fun to work on. And we made it. What are y'all working on? It has been such a day. There was another meme that I made that didn't make the cut, and I kind of want to post it myself, but I made it like one of those Apple Note apology memes. Have you seen those? Let me see if I can pull up the image really quick. 1 second. I gotta find it. There's been so many memes. Here we go. Let me just open this in a larger window so you can see. And so I made one of those Apple Note apology memes where it was like, to our friends, fans, and loved ones, we want to sincerely apologize for the long delay in releasing Stacked PRs. We're holding ourselves and our actions accountable. And I capitalized actions because it's like GitHub actions. And using this as a learning moment. Turns out code is hard and we had no idea. Love and light, GitHub. And I thought this was funny. And our team thought it was funny, but the execs were just like, this seems too real. We don't actually want to apologize. We want to release this feature. And I was like, that's the joke, but it didn't make the cut. But maybe I'll just post it anyway on my own account. Let me see. Ooh, what are y'all working on? You just got a huge dashboard out for your decision makers. That's huge. That's great. I'm working on breaking up a giant new feature into smaller PRs. How perfect timing. I hope GitHub infrastructure will step up as the GitHub meme game. You know, that has been number one priority inside the company. And Privan, if you would like to see, we have a thing called the GitHub availability report that we've been working on. And let me see, this is the most recent one is June, and I'm plopping it in the chat here. But they try to do one every single month, so the July one is coming up soon, and it's basically just talking about like, okay, what instance we had, what did we learn from it, what are we improving, just to make it happen, because the amount of traffic is so much more astronomical than you can even comprehend. Where thank goodness we were working on a bunch of availability stuff already, like the availability and infrastructure migration started happening last year, And our plan, if I'm recalling the numbers correctly, our plan was for everything to be able to like handle 10x the traffic, and it needed to be more like 30x the traffic. And so it's been a whole lot of work. Brittany, hey, thanks. Yeah, no, the pancakes are real. But yeah, it has been a whole lot of work. The team is literally working night and day around it, around the clock, around the world, and they're doing a great job. I know that it could be better, and we do our apology tours because it definitely can be better, and it has been. We haven't had major incidents in a minute, but at the same time, we do need to improve, and you're right. I started to work more on the back end part of the application we develop at work. Elixir. Oh my goodness. I've always wanted to learn Elixir, and now that AI exists, I'm just like, I could do just a little bit. I don't need to do too much. Because yeah, I see Bobby McHugh in the chat. Like Elixir is a lovely language. It's really cool. I really like functional languages a lot. I just don't have like practical reasons to use them regularly. But whenever I get in like a functional mode, I love using it. Phoenix and LiveView is so cool. And just the guarantees that you get with functional programming languages are so nice. I love watching talks on it and stuff, and I'm just like, yeah, someday I'll have a reason to do that, and that day has not come, but I should probably just be patient. You know, I've got young children. There's a lot less hobby time right now. Yeah, Elixir does look like Ruby. It feels very nice. I come from like Scheme and Lisp style parentheses when I was learning functional programming languages, and just parentheses everywhere, parentheses on parentheses, and it felt very clean, and it felt like, wow, my brain is working in a mathematical way that has changed me. But yeah, the look of Elixir is really nice. But yeah, someday. I totally get the amount of traffic that has increased tons. Yeah, it's a lot. Oh, goodness gracious. But anyway, I truly am getting, since starting this stream, I've gotten 18 DMs about memes. That is what the day has been like, where I can see what they are about in the notifications on the side. It is literally asking about the next memes being posted, which is very funny, but also that is the reality I am living right now. Oh, goodness. There's also a bunch of people who don't get the pancake joke, which is fine. It's fine. But there's some people where it's just like, y'all, it's just fun. And then other people are just like, you don't know what the pancake could do to people. And we're like, sure. But it's also temporary. It will be changed in like 2 hours back to a regular one. But yeah. Oh yeah, Racket. Racket also has no parentheses. Yeah, I think Scheme is based on Racket. Did I use Racket or Scheme? I don't remember. It's been a long time. Has GitHub migrated entirely to React now? No. Pancakes are offensive in my culture. Exactly. You never know. I have gotten so many. I think I got at least 2 or 3 messages on Blue Sky specifically saying, so you hate waffles. So there you go. But anyway, yes, GitHub is not migrated entirely to React now. But there is a lot of React. It's been, I haven't touched the code base a ton, or at least I've broken the code base at least twice, but it's usually when I am trying to do React and it's more Ruby, or it's like a weird combination of both. But there's a lot of Rails and there's a lot of React, and depending on where you are, it's either very fun or incredibly challenging. Have you ever looked into Tangled? It's essentially GitHub, but using @proto. I have looked at it. Yes, I work at GitHub, so I'm biased. But I like that Tangled exists. I think that it's good to have competitors. I don't even want to say competitors. I think it's good to have options as developers, where a rising tide lifts all boats. Should make it a custom setting. Stack of pancakes, waffles, stroop waffles, hot dogs, lasagna. That's actually genius. Imagine being able to pick your icons. I really want us to do more like you could make your GitHub profile weird. I like make it like MySpace, but I understand the accessibility concerns and design concerns and so on and so forth of why that might not be a great idea, but why not? Why not? I know why not. But still. Is that not GitHub Pages? That's true. I mean, GitHub Pages, yes, but that's like hosting. I mean, like if you went to github.com/castdo, it'd be cool if you had like a custom cursor, or if I could pick the font that you see or something. I think it could be a little zany. I like the idea of it being a little zany, but one thing at a time. Today it's Stacked PRs. Tomorrow, the world, and a bunch of other things. My team often focuses on top 8 repos. I mean, that is kind of your pinned repos, right? But also, yeah, that's pretty funny. My team specifically focuses on an initiative that we call Developer Love, which is specifically features on GitHub that aren't AI related. And so sometimes they're big, like Stacked PRs today. This was huge. And then some are way smaller. Lena, hello! Thank you so much for the raid. Hey, everybody. Welcome. What's up, raiders? We are talking about Stacked PRs that are on GitHub. In case you missed it, this is the biggest change to Stacked PRs since sliced bread. I don't know, sliced pancakes. So I'm dropping a link in the chat if you want to see that. It's very, very exciting. Lena, thank you so much for the raid. Y'all should follow her. She's very cool. We finally met in person after raiding each other for years this past month. Was that a month ago? 2 months ago now? At Microsoft Build. But anyway, Stacked PRs are the ability to break up massive PRs into a stack of them that are all dependent on each other. And so, excuse me one second. Goodness. Blah. Anyway, it makes PR reviewing so easy, where what you're able to do is say like, okay, instead of a 10,000 line PR, you could break it up into 5 2,000 line PRs, and they're all dependent on each other. Where before you could do this, and technically Stacked PRs shouldn't even exist. When you think about it, you probably should consider just doing better, smaller commits, whatever. But anyway, that doesn't happen, especially in this agentic engineering world. But what is nice is you're able to say, okay, these are all broken up by feature. And you could say, I want to just have certain people review this part of it, certain people review this part of it. Before, if I had a massive 10,000 line PR, I could break it up manually. And let's just say I broke it up into 5, A, B, C, D. I would have to manually say, okay, don't actually look at B, C, D, and E until A is merged. And then once A is merged, do all of the rebasing, squashing, whatever you have to do. Then in the next one, don't look at C, D, E until B is done or whatever. And you have to handle all of that management just like with the humans in front of you, with the agents in front of you. So now, with Stacked PRs, it's automatically built in. And what you could do is you can merge 3 of them at a time. You could say, okay, merge A, B, and C at the same time and hold off on D and E. You could merge the entire stack. You could review them one at a time. You can rearrange the stack. You could delete one from the middle. You're able to do all of these very complex operations natively on github.com and the CLI, on mobile, all of these things. And it's very, very exciting. A real commitment. Ha 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 ha. Good joke. That's pretty good. I always broke them up very manually, so I was super confused when the feature was announced. I know, yeah, I get it. Where like there was part of me where I was just like, if you follow very good engineering practices, you shouldn't need this. But the reality is that you can't always, and there's a lot of things that happen in the world. And in software engineering has never been the cleanest industry, but this can help you be a little bit cleaner. You could just not suck. Yeah, that's the conclusion here. Oh, but anyway, I'm very excited about this feature. It should be called Graph PRs. I could see that, because it like visually is a stack, but technically you could like point things in different directions. But yeah, the feature is by no means done, but it is out now. And you can read the docs and notice the pancake icons around GitHub today for all of the memes and all of the fun. All stacks are graphs. Are they, though? Are they? Someone tried to argue with me that it should be called queued pull requests. But then you get into the weeds of like merge queues versus that, and just words are hard, y'all. We were slop engineers, and now we are giga slop engineers. Yeah, that's right. You love the memes around the feature? Thank you. The memes have been a labor of love. It is so much work, more than you would expect. And so I'm really, really happy that the memes are landing and that people are excited about it. Yeah. So what are y'all up to? What are you working on? What were you talking about with Lana? We here have mostly been talking about just this feature because that's been all consuming of my work for so long, and I've been like hyping it up for so long, being like, it's coming soon for weeks, because we kept delaying the release because they were like, we want this to be more airtight, we want to improve this, improve that. The fact that it came out today, I was so happy. It almost got delayed again because of another release that I think is now coming tomorrow or Monday, I'm not sure, but I'm so happy that it's here. So happy. You're working on contributing to a package manager. Ooh, which one? Is it NPM? PNPM? Pip? Nougat? Those are the only ones that are coming to my mind right now. Gems? Cocoa Pods? Which ones? Alice. I don't know the Alice package manager. Alice package manager. Oh, it's for OCaml. Interesting. I have not seen this before. Allow everyone to program into OCaml with as little friction as possible. That's cool. I have never used OCaml before. Or I think I did in college or something. But, you know, I leave certain languages behind because otherwise I'll just spiral on so many things. But cool. It's new and you wanted exactly this. You like the concept. That's awesome. That's really, really cool. I love seeing projects like this where it's like small and fully out of my wheelhouse, but it's... Oh, F# is essentially OCaml. Okay, that makes sense. Got it. But yeah, it's nice to see things like this exist. Wasn't there was like a shopping website that used F# exclusively? Jet? I think jet.com. They were bought by Walmart or something. I remember that they were a big F# shop. F# shop back in the day. Say that 10 times fast. Does anybody else use like more unusual languages? I like the idea of it, but it's just enough of a mental overhead. We were just talking about Elixir earlier that I don't as much as I want to. Doesn't Meta use a lot of OCaml? I think they do. But only in some areas of their world. I'm working on a PR manager. Ooh. What kind of PR manager? That's awesome. Stacked PRs does have an API, and so if you want, you can have it use the API and like natively work with Stacked. Or Stacks. Like we're trying to make it a very open platform type thing where if you don't want to use our mobile app, CLI, you any web UIs and stuff, you can build whatever UIs your heart desires and stuff. So that's awesome. Use this thing called TypeScript. Oh, what's that? Isn't TypeScript the #1 language now? I think it passed Python for the first time last year. Probably, you know, the typed languages in an AI-driven world. It gives you the type checking guardrails that you might not have otherwise. And when you're not writing the code, rules matter. Yada, yada, yada. I'm already depending on a bit on the GitHub CLI, so planning to implement it. Oh, perfect. Then yeah, it should already be built in. I'm curious. Unknown as. It's just type any. I admit I was not a big TypeScript fan for a long time, and it wasn't even because I didn't like the language. Like I got it, and back when I was doing a lot more Java, I liked that I could basically write the syntax I knew and it would just work. Years ago, that was in like 2013 or something, so long ago. But as I got just more and more comfortable with JavaScript, I like that JavaScript gets out of your way, and TypeScript was giving me too many like, hey, you should add a type here. Hey, you should fix this. Hey, what if this were a number instead? And I get it. It's safe, but it's annoying. And I kept seeing how verbose code was getting with it, and so I didn't like it. But now, once again, AI-driven world, it's really good. I stand corrected. That's how we overthrow the AI robots. Move back to JavaScript ES6. Yeah, just make really cursed code. Toss in enums that don't exist. The PR manager is my first iteration on a more future-ready ADE. Oh. I'm not sure TypeScript is something to like or not like. I think it's just sort of an inevitable thing. I could see that. Yeah. I hesitate to ever say anything is inevitable. But yeah, I get what you're saying. TypeScript makes JavaScript work the way I always thought it should. Fair. And I mean, like, I was even using some newer CSS features recently, and the fact that CSS properties have types now, have you seen that? That's incredible. And at first I was just like, oh, why would you do that? And then I realized, like, you can animate gradients in CSS now with properties. That's something that you only could do with JavaScript, or if you like made a background huge and then just moved the background for so long. Those are so nice. So anyway, I'm more sold on types now. It is really nice to have those. Types make the world go round. Yeah, I'm sold. Do you ever miss the old days? When we were just in the Wild West? We've reinvented type theory from first principles. Yeah, I know. Part of me wishes we could go back to a pre-AI world. A large part of me. Just because I do enjoy like the thrill of the hunt when I'm debugging and everything. But at the same time, I am working so much faster. It's really nice. I definitely have a sense of a lack of control sometimes, and I don't like that, and so I'm reconciling that with myself and figuring out what that means. But oh yeah, you don't want to work without a compiler. AI one definitely, but I need my compiler. Yes, there was a tweet recently, or I think it was a tweet, or it might have been on Reddit or something. Someone prominent said like AI is a 10x multiplier, but or accelerator, but compilers are an 1000x multiplier accelerator. And I'm deciding how I feel about that quote still. I've been noodling on it. But there's also the argument of what if AI output is the new edition of compiled code? But I don't know if I agree with that. But I get the concept. Yeah, the meh IDK, exactly. Just one more compiler. Yo, dog. I don't know, I see AI as my manager. It helps me evaluate where I should stop. That's fair. Yeah, no, it helps me add scope creep to a lot of my projects, which is a thing that I have to like add guardrails about. AI spitting out assembly sounds like a great time. Honestly, think about how performant you could make some software if you're just like, this is a personal project just for me. Low-level assembly, imagine how efficient it could get. It could be like that original Roller Coaster Tycoon game. One guy, all assembly. Which is still wild. But yeah, exactly. The compiler is deterministic. I think that's the thing. And I feel like what I've been doing more and more, depending on the project and things, is instead of using AI to write all of the code, I have AI write scripts that generate things that I want, if that makes sense. Again, depends on the task, but I want to do more things that generate deterministic code that I can run and like generate the unit tests, generate the things so that the non-determinism can be controlled a little bit. Yeah, like fuzzy testing. 10x bug creator. It helps you have more clarity because you have to be so specific. That's true. I feel like I have spending so much time at planning. So many of my projects, I actually haven't even started because I'm still thinking about the planning phase instead of actually getting to implementing. But then when I have my gigantic plan, I can give it to some agents and at least get parts of it executed and stuff, and that feels really nice because it feels like I have a sense of control because I have the plan and I have to say, like, don't diverge from the plan, or if you do, there's a decision log, and make sure you do some reconciliation and stuff. Like, have it write a code mod for wide changes. Yes, exactly. Like, I would rather have a code mod do those kinds of wide changes than just say fix it all with AI, as much as I can. Once again, it depends on the project, but that's what I've done a lot. But yeah, one of my projects, I actually have to do some testing on it now because it finally implemented like my MVP that I wanted so that I could jump into the code, where I didn't want it to do any of the CSS. I just wanted it to handle like the very bare bones initial components that just work with like the back end all wired up and everything, so that I could have fun styling it because I like doing the styling. And the fact that it's able to do that to my specs is really nice. That makes me happy. Add it to the project pile. On a completely unrelated note, because I saw it out of the corner of my eye, I've been eating these really weird protein bars, and they're sour. I got them at Costco. This is not an ad, but they're sour protein bars that have collagen in them. Look at that. Ooh. And I keep looking at it, and you know that like when you anticipate eating like a warhead or some kind of sour thing, like your cheeks kind of hurt a little bit as you anticipate the sour. I keep seeing this in the corner of my eye and getting that feeling, and that just happened to me just now. Does my gut absorb collagen? I don't know. My country doesn't even have a Costco, even if it was an ad. There you go. Well, and the thing is, I like sour candy. So when you say, why are you doing this to yourself? I like sour candy. And so I was just like, maybe a sour protein bar would fix me, because I don't like regular protein bars. They're always so like bleh. They're okay. They're really sour. They're more sour than I expected. Not like, oh, I can't eat it, but it's more just like, whoa, this is protein? It has like the texture of mochi. It's funky. What am I working on? Currently just chatting, but Stacked PRs on GitHub. They are live today, and I'm gonna plop it in the chat. You could go to gh.io/stacks, or here's a docs link right there that you can check out. Previously, I worked on side projects, but I didn't have time to wrap them up. But now it's a bit easier, and the moment I let AI go further than my comfort zone. But I added other guardrails to maintain a sane level of complexity. Yeah, because the thing is, I don't want it to take over my project so much that I can't maintain it if, like, the Wi-Fi goes out or something. AI has helped me notice how important it is to fully stop now when you're getting tired. Yes, that's true. That's very true. Because if you're just like, just keep going, then you get slop. Are PRs for Stacked PRs stacked? Heck yeah. Once again, a yo dog meme. Stacks on stacks on stacks. Stacks in Terraform, stacks in GitHub PRs, stacks of pancakes. Everyone gets a stack. We've been just truly... I really wanted to send just like pancakes to everyone. That takes budget though. But we were saying, like, what if we just gave away Denny's or IHOP gift cards or something for like pancake stuff? But making memes is easier. Yes, it's an actual new GitHub feature. It's exciting. It is the first big new GitHub feature in a very long time that is like fully platform native across mobile, the web, the CLI, all of these things, the API and everything. I just keep going with AI and get a stack of slop. Wonderful, delicious. We have a channel at work just called Awesome Slop, and it's where people are plopping in all of their slop projects and stuff, where it's just like, this is a project I just wanted to do. I had AI do it. Yay. And it is kind of fun to see how creative people have been getting. As they're just like, I got some more tokens for the month, I'm going to play with it. A red bean bun is kind of like 2 stacked pancakes. Oh, yeah. Or like a moon cake. I could see that. I showed one of my games earlier, and I'll show it now, where one of the memes that I made for the Stacked PR announcement was this like brain rot one, where I'm gonna mute it, but it was basically me reading the documentation while playing this pancake game that I made, because I was just like, oh, people like those brain rot videos where you're watching like Subway Surfer as someone is reading like a Reddit thread or something. And this was, I was just like, it'd be fun to do that, but we probably can't legally use the Subway Surfer thing. So I got some game assets from Kenny, and actually I'll share it here if you want to use it, because his assets are awesome. And for the pancake, I used the cheese wheel and squished it, and then I used the actual pancake one for when you get like a stack of pancakes, and then I used the strawberry, the plate, and the frying pan. And then I made this game, and it was very fun. It is not the best game in the world. There's so many like levels and things that I could add, but for the purpose of the meme, I was able to ship this. And there's also those fish bones there, where if you run into the fish bones, it slows you down. And then I forget if I made it, if you run into 5 or 10, your run ends. And then you could also hit spacebar to finish your run, and then it'll pull up a repository that stops the game from playing. But anyway, this was a fun game to make for the meme, quite literally. You can play it in real life if you want, so that we could make this specific video where I read the documentation for PR stacks. Now make an obnoxious Instagram ad for it with fake graphics that look nothing like the game. That's true. Or there's like a king that's hitting on the pancakes or something like that. You get to be paid to make games to go on memes, so that's amazing. I know, right? It's a good time. I really enjoy being able to do fun things instead of just doing like content planning. I can do actual fun things to make some of the memes as well. We did do an obnoxious Instagram one though, where it wasn't with the game, but it was, let me pull this up. This was honestly really funny. Oh, they put mine on there here too. Nice. But we did this one where the music is super obnoxious. I'm not gonna play it right now, but it was truly just like blah, 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 with a bunch of random pancakes. And yeah, it was really fun to put some of these together. Also, Charlie, don't lie to people. It's not my first day at GitHub, and it's not my birthday. It's not. I appreciate you saying it. That is a meme on this channel that people are really dedicated to. My birthday is not today. My birthday is in December. But people always say it, and thank you. But it's not my birthday. But thank you. Did you get pancakes to celebrate the launch? We didn't, but I think we're going to. Or like, yeah, lasagna or something. Charlie, shut up. Stop saying happy birthday. Oh, it's not even that funny, but the commitment is really amazing. Yeah, you did trick one of my actual coworkers once. One time I actually had to say, please no, in a meeting. It's a thing. It's not my birthday. December's the best birthday month. Yeah, I see you. But yes, once again, it is not actually my birthday. Thank you. We did it, Joe. Do you use GitHub Copilot when you vibe code stuff? I do. Yeah. I have like a decent number of work credits and stuff. That's usually just for technical demos and everything. And then that pancake game was a little extra thing. It's the end of the month. We gotta use the tokens. But yeah, use GitHub Copilot for all the things. And what's nice is we get to play with all of the different models too. And so that one in particular, I think I mostly used Claude models for it. I used Claude models for implementation, and then I think I used GPT models for planning. I've been experimenting with the multi-model thing, and I found that for more front-end stuff, I prefer using GPT. Like GPT 5.5 has been pretty good. And then if I really have to, like, if something isn't working correctly, I throw Opus at it, it fixes it, and then I can use a smaller model. But auto mode is really nice when it just like redirects to the right task or the right model for the task. I'm working on my project and just deployed. Ooh, fun. Have you used the new Opus 5 much yet? Not much. I used 4.8 I think, for the pancake project. I haven't had a need for that much power, and so that's why I haven't used 5 yet. But is it good? I assume it is. I was really sad when GitHub switched to token-based usage. Yeah, we were sad too. You have no idea how much money the previous version of billing was burning. Where, I'll leave it at that. It had to be done. The fire sale across all of the model providers and everything is over, unfortunately. You always plan in big models and execute in smaller models. Yeah, especially if you have get a really detailed plan. I like to initially write my plans and then vet it across multiple models just to reconcile decisions and see what holes there are in the plans, and then break that up into tasks and give it to smaller models. It's good at code and not great at responding in a way that's easily reusable for humans. Yes. I have a lot of special instructions about how I want comments to be written to, because so many times AI output is I'm fixing this, or adding in this line to do this, blah, blah, blah. It's very based on what's happening in the session rather than evergreen pictures of what is happening at that moment and will be read later on. Does that make sense? Anyway, lots of instructions about evergreen comments. I'll get to play around with cursor again soon. I'm hoping to figure out multi-model soon. I've been using Codex. It's weird. I've been hearing a lot of mixed things about Codex lately. Some people are loving it, and some people are like, gets the job done. It's so hard for products like GitHub Copilot to keep up with usage offered by companies owning the models. Well, and I think hang on, PR hat on, not pull request. I am indeed an employee. GitHub has the multi-model approach, so that's nice. The point of it is to be more of a neutral thing that is good for developers and works with all of the, Stacked PR hat, exactly. That works with the GitHub harness as well as possible. Because so many of GitHub's customers, lots of open source developers, yada, 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 we know that people are using the GitHub platform with all of these other tools. We want our tools to work as well as they can with the GitHub platform, knowing that the people using our tools might be using other things, but also are very often coming from big enterprise contracts and stuff too. And so we want people to have the choice, but we want to also not think of it as keeping up and more just being this is a good option that is built into all of the GitHub subscriptions that you might have through work, through whatever your existing workflows are. I've been very happy with it. I know that there's a lot of very smooth experiences in the other platforms that is all they do, but because GitHub would still work very well if we turned off all Copilot things tomorrow. And that's the key there, where we're not just focusing on AI users, we're focusing on the humans that use GitHub. And I'm not trying to brag on any of our competitors or anything, because I think they're all doing such interesting work and such good work. But we have more humans than any of the other tools. And so we have to build GitHub for the humans that are using all of these tools. It's humans and agents collaborating on a lot of things, and we have a lot of tools that work for both, and we have to adapt everything for both because that is who our customers are. And so it's not so much building these AI native things from the specific model family stuff. Those things work, but everything has to work on the platform for everyone as much as possible. And so that's it's just a bigger ship to steer. Knowing this is internal stuff, has there been any conversation about the open web sentiment and commitment inside GH? What do you mean by open web? There's a lot I like about Copilot. I just can't justify the cost when Claude Code Max is $200 a month. That's fair. For what it's worth, all pricing is made up and is probably subject to change, but I can't speak more to that. Also really nice that GitHub also supports open models like Kimi K3 now. Yeah, and there's more model launches coming, and I think something that we're thinking about a lot too is how can we emphasize open weight models more, especially as fallbacks. We're like, are there ways where it makes it super easy to continue using our tools even when you run out of usage? And ways where you could like fall back to a local model on your machine after you've used your credits, like that kind of stuff, where we're trying to figure out how can you make the most of a subscription without having to rely on a subscription to do that, if that makes sense. Which I like that we do that, and I feel like that's something that other companies aren't as motivated to do because it doesn't make sense for their business model. Like I don't blame them. I do still use it and open code a bit to play around with other models. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I like that we have a lot of partnerships with like the open model routers and stuff to make it work well. One second, I'm getting some DMs. Let me make sure that this is not something I need to worry about. Okay, yeah, I'm good. Is this a game developer channel? This is a developer channel. I have made games, and I showed a game that I made earlier, but I am more of a generalist developer rather than game developer. What I mean by open web is support for open standards, open models, FOSS, stuff like that. Oh yeah, we're trying to make things as open as possible. That's something that we care a lot about internally. I think that's all I can really say about it, but yeah. It's Cassidy's fault that I started to love the Copilot CLI. Yay! Yeah, I've loved all of the work that team is doing there. I love that it, again, the GitHub harness is a powerful one, and being able to integrate in that very natively is super nice. And also for those asking about usage of the stuff, one of my teammates actually wrote a really good blog about like what are you actually paying for and like how can you change things. Let me find it. So first of all, this one about the harness. Oh yeah, GitHub does have a max plan. Yep. Let's see. There is, oh yeah, Copilot versus raw API access. What are you actually paying for? This is my teammate's blog post, and it can hopefully answer some questions that you might have in there too. So yeah, there is a max plan, but then there's also talking about like what is the price difference when you like compare the direct model access and everything. And also, the GitHub tooling has bring your own key. So let's just say you do have a Claude Max subscription and you just want to use that. You can use that and just bring your key to GitHub and still use all the tools. And so you're able to use like the GitHub Copilot app with your other subscriptions, and then you have access to, again, all of the harness tools and stuff. But yeah, I promise this isn't meant to be a full-on sales pitch. Once again, I turned on my public relations hat a little bit. But right, Anthropic cut that off. Sorry, I forgot that is a thing. I think if you use like Microsoft Foundry, you can self-host certain things. Have you seen that? I need to be more educated on it, since Microsoft Foundry is like a Microsoft product, and technically GitHub is as well, even though it's different. But in case you haven't seen it, I haven't used it much, so full disclosure, I'm just kind of saying words. Ooh, wrong button. This one. I know with this you're able to spin up agents and models really quickly, and so what some of my colleagues do, for example, is they clicked the wrong thing. I don't want to do it right now. They create agents and stuff and host them with Foundry, and then use bring your own key in GitHub Copilot, so that they can still have all of like their Claude stuff, but then hosted it that way. Is that like a Microsoft version of Bedrock? I think so. I don't remember, but didn't AWS Bedrock get discontinued? One second. Yes. Just read that summary. Correct. That is basically Microsoft's version of it. And so you can very easily host local models and all that jazz in one spot. I know that one of my coworkers, there's a Foundry canvas in the GitHub Copilot app, and a canvas is like a UI that you use to interact with stuff. And she was able to very easily make like 3 agents that just started running right away via the canvas. But once again, I have not used it enough to speak to it. I just know that that is a way to use bring your own key with Claude models if you want. Let's see. Bob doesn't play with others, and if you ask, it will say, I can't tell you what model I want my privacy. What? It is funny to see certain LLMs like act self-aware. I know it's just spitting out text, but it is funny. Some of we have a channel at work where it's just funny AI output where people are just like, I don't know how the chat got this way, but it's funny. And there was one where someone had been using something small, like they were using like Claude Haiku or something super tiny for a project, and then they switched to Opus to say, hey, can you fix that and the other? And one of the first messages that Opus wrote was, did you use another model on me? This is terrible, or something like that. And I thought that was very funny. Maybe a strange question. Do you know if they're still working on a new tab complete model? Yes, but I can't say more. Sorry. I am not allowed to divulge certain details. That's more than enough? Great. Good. One of the little things I like about the Copilot CLI is how visible the self-talk is. Yeah, I know. I kind of like watching that, where it's interesting to see the thought process and stuff, but once again, that might just be my sense of control speaking. But I like to be able to see like what is actually going on at any particular time, because sometimes I see a thought process and I'm like, ooh, I don't like that, and I am able to jump in and say, I want to fix this. I don't even bother looking at this file. This is the one that you want, and kind of treating it a bit more like pair programming. Y'all, I've gotten 27 DMs in the past few minutes. I might have to start heading off and actually work. I like the Copilot CLI animation banner. Yes, our designer, Cameron Foxley, I'm calling him out by name, is so talented. I want to pull up, he made such a good video recently. I'm pulling up, I think he posted it on Twitter. Where did he put it? On how he made a Mona cooking thing, where there's a new animation on the GitHub Copilot app where Mona was cooking, and he made it like this, where it was actually a 3D model of it, and he like added all of the different splines, all the different things to make the actual icon right there. And then let's see, I think he did, oh yeah, he showed how all of the different like frame by frame animations worked for the game that he built as a walking state. So many things in there, but it was this one that was really cool, where you can see the icon on the side, how it looks like Mona is cooking, and it's actually just a mask on a 3D model that he put together. Isn't that so cool? Yeah, so there's an animation on the desktop app, and let me actually pull mine up really quick. 1 second. It is loading as you watch this video very slowly. Okay. It's updating. Okay, 1 second. But there's a bunch of animations and stuff that are like Easter eggs in the app that are very, very cute. But yeah, I really love this designer's work. He does a lot of really interesting things. He has helped me with pixel art before, and so I am very grateful. Okay. App, all these things. So if I were to zoom in right here, what I can, with the Mona icon, I can grab her and drag her around, toss her against the wall, and she falls. But if I just drop her here, it turns into a little game. And so like this walking animation was something that he made, and then it turns into like a platform game here. Oh no. And so while you have sessions running, you can play this, and then if you hit a bug, oh, is the bug coming? Blah! You die. Isn't that so fun? Hello! My toddler has broken into the room. Hey, baby. Did you run away from Appa?
Yeah.
You probably shouldn't do that. I'm making a video right now, okay?
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I'll talk to you later. Sorry. I should probably go help manage my children. But anyway, if you want to play that game with the GitHub Copilot app, you can. Hide your high score when your boss walks in. Yes, you can hit escape. Anyway, y'all, it has been lovely chatting with you. I should probably help manage my toddlers and answer all of these DMs that I got at work. But thank you so much for hanging out. Try out Stacked PRs. Please tweet it or post somewhere on social media. My team is so actively watching things, and so if you do a meme, they will be very happy and probably repost you. You can get some fake internet points. That being said, I am going to raid someone right now. Does anybody have any preferences? Otherwise, thanks for liking the Stacked PRs video. I'm going to pick someone. Let's see, who's streaming right now? Oh, Bash Bunny is streaming. I'll do her. All right, y'all. Happy Thursday. See you next week. Bye.